that's going on in your life.
Yes, well, I live in Sweden and I have been here in this community for 2 years now, I think. And I am taking the mindfulness thing with me in my life, and so things shouldn't be so stressful. And yeah, I think it's helpful. Oh, well, I don't really know what to say right now. Thank you. No, no, it's always wrong. It's Sweden. If you come to Sweden, you're very welcome here.
Yeah, I'd love to
Yeah.
love to visit someday.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Christina. That's wonderful. How about Nicole? You a little bit of a hello and a update.
Good morning, where I am. Small update. So, I don't know, continuing practicing mindfulness. Just a few days ago, someone sent me this resource where I found there's a place called the Northeast Sangha, where I am. So I'm very excited that the person named Paul just reached out to me. So I am going to try to look more into that and be a part of their community as well. Very exciting. So I learned about that this weekend, which was great. I am practicing compassion and just going. I don't know. Everything is well. No news is good news.
Hello, everybody. I am Nino, and I've been part of this community for quite a while. I don't know exactly how long, but I've decided in this kind of chaotic period in my life to step more into the Sangha, practice more mindfulness, read the book Fear that we've been reading together. I ordered it, and it's been really wonderful. Um, right now, I'm at my parents' apartment in the Netherlands. Um, there's just a lot going on, renovation happening at my apartment, so I can't live there. I am moving to the south of France tomorrow for a month to be somewhere else. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. And in this period, I also have been practicing a lot of mindfulness, and I've been singing a lot. The song Happiness is Here and Now. I've been practicing so I can sing along. And I've been doing a lot of mindful breathing throughout the day and trying to enjoy the little things, the mushrooms on the logs when I walk the dog outside. I saw a kingfisher bird today in Holland, and it's an extremely rare sight. So that's the tiny things that you start to notice when you slow down, and it's been really wonderful. Normally, I'm only behind the computer. That's my work. I do computer work. So there's a reality out there. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, that's me.
Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, this is my first time on the Discord because it never really worked for me. So I would just always go on TikTok. But when I hit that video button, my heart just started beating, even though I've been on video plenty of times. I suppose that's exactly what I'm experiencing though. Experiencing life completely authentically, without escaping any of the feelings. And that's something that's been very hard because it's like, most of the people around me would rather choose to escape most of the feelings they feel on a daily basis. And it's kind of hard to do, but it's also very exciting and it's very fun to feel one's life fully and to just breathe. I suppose to be unique in a lot of ways. But I'm thankful to be the creator of my world and my universe. And yeah, thank you for letting me share.
Okay, thank you, creator, and plastic, all together, right? Okay, how about Sonia? You want to give us an update? I think you were saying that some things were going on, and then you've had an experience since then. Your mother was maybe sick or something?
Uh, she's old. She's very old. She's almost 92. So I went to saw her yesterday, and I cut her hair, and I did some guacamole and dinner, and taking care of her, and she was very, very happy. So she's looking like getting younger when I go see her. So it was a nice moment, and it's just that sometimes. She could call me like a few times per day, and she asked me many, many things, and my head is exploding because I'm carrying a lot, so I cannot do things for myself sometimes. But I was very happy, and I have to think about, because it could happen. So that's why I was saying that she could, at that age, that next step could be something about death. So I have to think about that and trying to make her having the thought that is good for her to have. And so, yeah. And then I found the community that make me discover the Buddhism 15 or maybe 20 years ago. I don't remember, when I was in Montreal, and I stopped going to the community, but I discovered last weekend that they were at 20 minutes from my home now. And then I'm going to renew, and I'm very anxious and happy and excited to renew, because I know it was giving a lot of joy when I met them. And so I will go soon as I can to do a little visit.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Hello, everybody. To be honest, I'm a little scatterbrained right now. Yeah, well, I've been having some mental and physical issues. Not so much success with explaining them to doctors. And well, my life is generally pretty complicated and kind of depressing. I'm not sure this is the place really to go into details. Yeah, I meditate a lot, but to be honest, much of the teaching has never really clicked with me, and I have trouble going on meditation retreats because I seem to have an allergic reaction to almost all plant foods. So that has been a bit of a bummer, and I don't know what else to say. I guess nothing positive to report today, I'm afraid.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I mean, Andre, I also having myriad mental and physical problems doesn't seem to be an abnormal situation. You know, it's maybe what's abnormal is that we're able to show up anywhere and do anything and to take care in the slightest way. Is well, of course, that is abnormal. So, thank you for being here, and thank you for everyone for being here as a completely abnormal person. Yeah, wonderful. Sam, you want to share something? So you have to. Oh, I got a hold of you there. Go ahead. You should be.
So I think I talked to you a few months ago. You might not remember, but I've spent the last 10 years in and out of mental hospitals. I have dual diagnosis that I won't go into, but I'm making progress. And my biggest goal right now is reactivating my third eye, the pineal gland, because I believe I had an MRI done about 5 or 6 years ago, and it had a cyst on it, right? And I sun gaze and I look away, I can see colors. I remember when I was little, I could read books and it was almost like a story or a film projecting in my mind's eye. And I've lost that capability and I'd really like to get it back.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So seems like a lot of us are vulnerable and have a history of illness. And we have a capacity, somehow a great capacity to become ill. So don't feel alone in that. That's our wonderfulness. That we, you know, people who are suffering and have a capacity to suffer and recognize suffering are willing and able to show up to this present moment in a very fresh and gentle and loving way and inclusive way. So that's really a joy. And I think that one of the great gifts that Sangha gives us is to see one another's imperfection with such a compassion and such a gentleness and an openness. And it's nice, we had two people to say, I've got these things going on, but I'm careful not to overshare, and that really is the right way to go about it, because our neuroses and our sufferings and our difficulties, this big ball of complicated energy that we have, is fundamentally impermanent and empty. So as much as we can see and recognize the wave, right? That wave has within it the ultimate, the ocean, the water, right? Our awareness itself, our peace itself. And so sharing a lot can be very helpful in the right situation, at the right, with a high-level therapist, something like that, or a high-level person who's the right situation. But in general, we don't just go to the grocery store and that's not the place to sell things. That's the place to buy things, right? So we bring this kind of contemplative and considerate mind to this moment. with our vulnerability, with our openness, but also with our, real capacity to be skillful and to take care. But just know that your true sharing is to share the ocean itself and the water itself and the awareness itself. So don't feel like you're cheating yourself at all, or that you need to pressure to share more. But share what you can share, and do so in a skillful way and in a considerate way of the space that we're in, and enjoy that. Right? We don't. It's not only sharing intellectually or mentally, but we could share physically, right? And we're all wearing clothes, and we'll continue to do so, right? And we're wearing particular kinds of clothes. If we show up in full body latex paint or something like that, that's maybe oversharing a little bit, even if that represents our energetic self at the moment, right? We can do. It would be a lot of fun to show up here with face paint and stuff, but that's probably not the the absolute most ideal way to share at this point. So anyway, Ina wanted to share something, I think.
Yes, I just wanted to say hello to everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Bante. I live in Central Asia, and I wanted to share that today I got a book by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's called The Art of Living. So I've been reading this book for the whole day today, and it's been wonderful experience. I'm also ill, so I've developed a major complication from a minor surgery, so I have to be staying at home right now, and working from home. And I'm so happy to see everyone. Everyone is just so beautiful in here, so kind. Thank you.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, so speaking of...
It's a little bit low, Luke. The volume is a little bit low.
Is this better?
It is, yeah.
All right, so speaking of imperfections, compassion, and vulnerability, yesterday was my birthday, and I baked cinnamon rolls for my local sangha, and they were terrible. Absolutely did not work out. They were very crunchy and caramelized, but instead of being disappointed and like throwing them out, I brought them to the sangha anyway, and they gobbled them up, and they were very kind and very compassionate. It was a very nice experience. So I'm happy to have found that sangha and this community as well. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Luke. And I'm glad that you had a lovely way to experience your birthday with the Sangha, with the community members like that. Okay, let's see. Maybe Jay or Frank or Florian would like to share, to say hello. Or Mindy, John Boy, Simon. All right, Frank, go ahead.
I was waiting to see if Cleo or Florian would answer. Anyway, I just want to share quickly my experience. So I discovered this whole community a month ago. I didn't introduce myself. So I'm Frank. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Croatia. So I'm pretty far away from everyone, I think. I just wanted to say that ever since I discovered this community, my mental health really improved because I really committed to show up to the meditations and sessions and everything. And I think that really committing and doing the right thing for yourself really does miracles. So I'm very, very, very grateful for discovering this. Thank you.
it's nice to hear from you. I don't know. Mindy, you want to say hello?
Hi, well, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I'm currently in St. Petersburg, Florida, in a hotel bathroom because my husband's giving a Zoom meeting in the other room. I can relate to like everything that everyone has said so far. As far as mental health, physical health, I feel like it's, since I've started this practice, which has been ongoing for many years, I found you guys maybe a year ago-ish, something like that. And I pop in and out, and I do read the boards more than I participate. I would be a lurker. I do feel like it's helped me so much grow mentally and just, yeah, I appreciate all of you, even though I don't usually participate like this.
Thank you so much, Mindy. And I know of a really great monk, a really great master in Jacksonville, Florida. So I definitely want to connect with you and tell you where that is. And he does a Friday night meditation and Buddhist teachings. Really, one of my.
I would love that. If you would, send me that information, I would really appreciate it.
Sure, I'll do my best to remember. Send me a message if you can, because
I'll reach out. Yeah, I'll reach out to you. Thank you.
I'm a very forgetful person.
Me too.
Yeah. But sometimes I feel that the forgetfulness is kind of only to be involved with what is most necessary, and I think that's a normal thing. To be forgetful, because if we were remembering everything all the time, we would be pretty confused, right? It's a lot to remember. It's a lot to be involved with, all that we could remember. Anyone else? Florian? Or Jay? Bror? Hello, Bror. Why don't you say hello, Bror? You're just joining in, right?
Yeah, I saw the YouTube stream pop up, and I realized I would feel a lot better. I would feel a lot less anxious if I joined you here on Discord instead of just watching my YouTube feed. I'm a long time lurker. I'm from Sweden. My name is Bror. It means brother. I'm 19 years old. I've been meditating for almost 2 years now, and I found this community I think about a year ago, and I found that it is much more giving to meditate in a group like this than to just do it by myself. And I'm very grateful for that. I feel that I am a part of something. I feel that I am not alone when I'm struggling and trying to feel better. So I'm very grateful for this. Thank you.
It's a wonderful sharing. Thank you. Okay, how about Simon or Cleo or Luke?
Well, I've been attending this group for a couple of weeks now after I had a kind of a bad breakup that made me kind of realize where my priorities in life needed to lie, and kind of this helped me in kind of developing a little bit more sense of self and take inventory of what are the things I need personally in my life. And some of those things have been like I've been going out on runs a lot more. Yesterday I did like 8.5 miles in the morning, which was really nice. I love trail running. I've been rehearsing with my band. We've been having we've always been more of a studio band, but we're trying to put together a little bit of a live thing and get gigs going. So I've been doing that and then pounding the pavement, otherwise trying to look for other gigs. And all the while, yeah, I've just been trying to treat the inner child, as many on Reddit or just recently have. The recent rhetoric has kind of been treating the inner child and taking care of that person, and I've been exploring that, figuring out what that means, and yeah, I've been trying to make some friends along the way and reach out when I can, and just use the talent of talk, reaching out and being able to be a listening ear sometimes, and that's what I know I can do. So yeah, I've been on the route of recovery and the route of healing, and it's non-linear, but this is always something that I can return to, and this is always a space that I can feel good in, or even if not good, I can hold a space to feel neutral at the very least, which is very peaceful for me. So I'm really grateful that this place exists. I'm really grateful for Bronte and all you lovely internet people. This is a very grounding thing for me. So I'm glad this is here. I'm glad I'm here. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, thank you, Cleo. Florian, you want to give it a shot? Maybe just say hello. Okay. Don't worry about it. The awareness that is permeating all space and time is also introducing you very well, very skillfully. Okay? So it's wonderful to to hear from everyone, sharing their introductions and just kind of connecting. It's a joy to be a part of this and to be a facilitator of this kind of happening in this dialogue. Yeah, there's something very open and fluid about gathering like this and being with other human beings like this. I think what has caused me more fear than anything else in my life is other human beings, right? In various capacities, and I think that has a lot to do with my own experience and my own understanding of how much suffering my mind can experience, how much anger, how much greed, how much fear, how much kind of it's almost like evil, or this self-fixated unskillfulness, so that I can act in a way that causes me to suffer, and I can do it again and again and again and again, and that this capacity is there in me, almost in a compulsive way, right? That I'm to cause myself to suffer, to be unskillful. And so naturally, I can maybe reverse empathizing that other people also have that, and it's scary, right? And there's also this mindset, especially as a monk, to be perfect, right? I'm supposed to be this representation of perfection and health, mental and physical health, or especially mental health, I think. And oftentimes that's just not the case. But I think everyone's in that position, whether even if you're working at Wendy's or whatever job that you have, right? Whether it's a low job or a high job, there's this kind of expectation of perfection. You know, even kids going to school, like you're supposed to go to school every day. You're supposed to listen. You're supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be ideal. But in the reality, from my perspective, the body and mind are supposed to get sick. It's just their nature, right? To get sick and to be frail and to be impermanent and changing. I was sharing about, this situation recently with a very good friend of mine named Kieran, who's a very, very high-level spiritual practitioner, not a monk, but a yogi, really a full-time yogi. And he's given a couple talks here before in our community, just about open awareness and non-duality, and just to be so open and fresh and effervescent about the present moment experience, and to really open up to that in all of its dimensions. And he shared with me a kind of a few words that I'd like to read with you all now. Right. So he was sharing about this notion to control and our inability to control the mind and the body. And as I spoke to before, this kind of deep habitual energy to be unskillful, right? To cause ourselves to suffer, even when it's, completely known that if we act in this way, there will be a suffering that comes along with it. And we're so much prioritizing our mental and physical health, and yet we're not taking care in the way that we could, or it seems like we could. So that feeling to control and that frustration about not being able to control. And Kieran said, so maybe worth just beholding that compulsion and the whole ecosystem that supports it with zero should and 100% interest in seeing it widely and clearly. So in those moments of kind of looking back and that frustration about control, and it has to be so personal to do this, because when we're bringing in other people and we're bringing in the created truth, right? The created reality about who we're supposed to be at work or in our role as a monk or this, it's way too much. I find it's so overwhelming to kind of be managing relationships with other people while trying to see this compulsion to control widely and clearly. But he goes on to say, total unrestraint, uncontrol, let things show themselves so much more freely and clearly. Let awareness, love, be totally non-interfering with the weather of your person. Because it's not the weather of your person, but the wide weather of the edgeless world of vulnerability. The moonlight is all the clearer and more sympathetic when it lets inside and outside be one vulnerable fabric, lets it alone. Right? So it's this, a big part of this is a willingness to unravel and to open up and to release our boundaries. And I think that's what I find so nourishing about these gatherings, this kind of gathering, is that the primary point is the unraveling and the opening up to. And a lot of people can't grasp that. They don't have the good conditions to understand that. So they show up and then they couldn't really stay. And sometimes it's like that for well, maybe most of the time it's like that for each one of us as individuals, right? We can't grasp it, we can't stay with it, we're unwilling to unravel. But this mindset of, as much as we get self-fixated, as much as we get stuck in this separate self-entity that makes mistakes and is good or bad or high or low or where they should be or where they shouldn't be, etc., that self is just effervescently interdependent with all that is. It's an interwoven fabric, and we are just pretending that we exist separately from our environment, when actually that's not the case. That's never been the case. And so our neuroses are kind of like an animalistic response to, you know, how maybe we've existed evolutionarily when we were in so much difficulty and kind of friction. Yeah, that vulnerability especially, I think, is so powerful. How vulnerable are we able and willing to be to the present moment experience, right? This interwoven fabric of cause and effect. And as Kieran said here, he said, let awareness and love be totally non-interfering with the weather of your person, right? So this capacity for awareness and love that we have, and for that to not be for that to be non-interfering with this weather. So just let it wash over this weather of this person, right? But then it moves forward to the reality of the situation, because it's not the weather of your person, the mental or physical weather, but the wide weather of the edgeless world of vulnerability, right? It's striking to me how much ordinariness there is in that. Yeah, that's maybe one of the strangest things about it, is how ordinary it is. And the same with all of our dark delusions, negative ways of seeing ourselves or seeing the world, all of these traumas that we feel to control and to hide, and the shame of them, and all of this, our ways of thinking, how ordinary it is, and how maybe more than anything else it speaks to our vulnerability rather than our wrongness or our falseness or our being outside. But the ordinariness of it is maybe what is most striking to me. Sam, you want to share something? Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, because I remember you talking about impermanence and the Buddhist view on impermanence, and talking about the self and how the air and the wind is what's all impermanent. And you said your biggest fear sometimes are the people. Now, when I was young, I never really feared death, but I don't want to. I know that the Buddhist principles, the way in which you maybe fall away from this world can affect the afterlife. So I'm just trying to understand those two different sort of paradigms, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so I actually had an insight about this recently, about this, this kind of, I think it's a certain misunderstanding of what death really is that leads me to say that I'm not afraid of death. And for me, in my experience, I am afraid of death in that I am afraid of the self-experience that I'm having to go away, to pass away, to allow it to die. Whether that's a pleasurable self-experience, whether that's a painful self-experience, whether it's a meditative self-experience or a completely self-fixated one, that there's an unwillingness and I think a fear to stop grasping, to stop being involved. And what could be more like death than that, right? The body is no longer, the mind and the body are no longer involved together. The body becomes compost, right? So it's that moment by moment, there's this fear to allow impermanence to permeate me, right? There's a fear to allow, in some sense, my self-identity to pass away. And I know that I have that fear because I act in a certain way that's so much dependent upon this self-experience moving into the future. Even if I don't want the self-experience to be that way, there's still this fear for it to drop, to end, right? And this, I think, is, for me in the past, has kind of, it's not that I'm anxious about that situation, to go into that situation, but actually it's that I'm afraid to die. I'm afraid for this self-experience that I'm having to come to an end. Even though it's one that I would want to come to an end, still I feel fear about it, right? Because I know once I go out, once I go into this different situation or condition, my self-experience is not going to be there in the same way. That's kind of a notion that I came up with recently, because it seems for me, I do feel very strongly that I could say I'm not afraid of death, but looking at it more closely, that's way overconfident, right? It's almost arrogant for me to say I'm not afraid of death. But I think that's because the death that I'm saying I'm not afraid of is not actually what death is.
So you're not afraid of the concept of death, but the living reality of it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And
okay, thank you.
Yeah, and Thich Nhat Hanh, yeah, of course. Thich Nhat Hanh talks a lot about the right, that nothing can come into being from nothingness, and nothing can go into nothingness from being, right? This ultimate truth of no birth and no death. So I think that, strangely, that's more pointing to the reality of birth and death than the usual way we think about it, which is very solid, right? Luke, what do you think about this? You have something to share? No, it's not working right now. Couldn't hear. It might be you need to pick a different microphone in your settings on Discord. But I see here that Nicole, you want to say something about this? Give it a try.
Sorry, I was thinking about what you were saying, and I was just wondering if this transition into losing one's identity was a form of ego death for you in a way. And I think it's very profound. I have a little bit of a different view. Like, I don't feel after we die, I don't think we go into nothingness, but identity is kind of subjective to me. So anyways, I was just listening to what you were saying as like a wallflower. And basically, it seems like a lot of the suffering is when we personalize this, I don't know, like this human experience that we're having. And it's kind of like we get so attached to being Nicole or, being who we are. And it's the death that I feel is kind of the death that we have at the end of this lifetime is not so much a physical death, but it might just be a ego death of losing one's identity that we identified with. Those are my thoughts on it.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Nicole. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's what Thich Nhat Hanh says in this teaching, right? Is that the real birth and death is no birth and no death. So that absolute death or that going into nothingness is not real. That's just like a miscommunication to see it that way. The notion that I find quite curious and like to play with is that kind of ego death is actually happening all the time. But that it's our habit energy and it's our kind of karma that is leading to these self-experiences to come up again and again that you couldn't say are totally disjointed, right? That they go together. And so this appearance of a separate self-entity, or this appearance of like you said, this attachment to the personality or the personhood seems so real. But that actually this is just completely a misunderstanding. And there's a lot of dimensions to that are very curious, such as the ordinariness of it. But also like this just earthquake of it and maybe that's the enlightenment experience or the, Satori or a Kensho or a deep Zen experience is to like earth-shatteringly experience that this whole attachment to a self-experience or a self-perspective is ultimately really is illusory. And that puts us into this place, at least for me, it puts me into this place of, okay, being aware of where I am now, but also having this like kind of looking around at, but I am in the relative, right? This past, this future, this self-perspective, this like, this dislike. And yet how that is, is irrelevant to the truth of impermanence of a flower, okay, or a sword. Yeah, it's very freeing, though, to empathize with that notion in a ordinary way, not in like a supernatural way, so that in my ordinariness is that freedom and is that truth. And in the wave is the ocean. Regardless of how big or small the wave is, or how polluted or unpolluted it is, it's the water. And also the dramatic quality of that being the situation that we are in the present moment, right? Because the kind of the past and future, the mundane, the normal way I see myself and I see my life with these worries and desires and fears, and okay, next I'll go here, and I just came from there. But then there's something so dramatic about, it's like being in a sword fight. It's like being on the edge of a cliff, birth and death being right here and now. And yet it's so ordinary. And can be so peaceful and so healing to be in that space. And I think vulnerability is a very good word to express that, the healing quality of vulnerability. Maybe now is a nice time we can practice some meditation together. So just consider to find a lovely position. You might already be in a lovely position. Comfortable and stable. Bring our mind to look at the body, in the body, starting with the toes and the feet. Make sure that everything's comfortable. Looking at the body from within using our mind. So the bones, the calves, up to our knees. Up into the thighs. Anything that stands out, give your kind attention to. be open to relaxing that place, that area fully. And just noticing what's there in the body. Onto the butt area. Notice, especially if you're sitting, notice where you feel the pressure of the body. So the weight of the body, the gravity. Make sure that you give kind attention to the butt area, anywhere you find pressure or tension. Now to the waist and the stomach. The intestines area. The lower back. Check in with the spine and the chest, the lungs, the ribs. If you find any place that's painful or uncomfortable, you can adjust your body. Not necessarily so that your body feels perfect, but so that your body knows at this present moment that you care about it, that you are taking care and present for it. Relaxing the shoulders and the arms, the elbows down into the hands. Into the throat and the neck. Looking at your face with the eye's mind, the mind's eye. Relax any muscles or tension on the face. Breathing and aware, relaxing the face and the whole body. Allow the mind, love, awareness to spread out, to broaden out. Any tightness, any control, any discrimination. Broaden out, widen out the mind. Feeling this sense of peace in the mind. Nourish that peace. Feed that peace. And if you get tangled or stuck, just breathing, relaxing the body. With that brightness and that awareness of the mind, allow those clouds, mental or physical formations, to dissolve and to be embraced. Each moment that something arises, just a reminder to nourish that awareness, that peace, that real freedom and vulnerability that is so peaceful, so enjoyable, so safe. this quality of the body being relaxed in a simple, stable position, breathing. The mind is bright and aware. Is so nourishing, so peaceful, so enjoyable. But we have the habit energy to seek stimulation. We don't care so much if it is pleasurable or painful, but we want to stimulate in some way. So we need to adjust our mind, adjust our way of breathing and being to enjoy how peaceful, how wonderful, how freeing it is. The mind as a clear blue sky. Just breathing and aware. And it's okay if we don't feel that connection to our practice. In the way I described. We can still breathe, relax the body, relax our heart. To enjoy just the body relaxing. To enjoy just breathing and being aware. Give yourself full permission to let go into this peace. Breathe and relax. So we can open our eyes if they're closed. We can massage our face and our head. Any places in the body that have a pain or feel tight, we can massage those areas. If we have strong, difficult, or negative emotions that come up when we are practicing, we can always switch to holding ourselves, put our hands on our heart or on our neck. We can tell ourselves that we are here. Don't worry. Everything will be okay. The moment you start forcing your meditation practice, you're going to have problem. You're going to have a big problem. So we don't practice to force or to control, but to enjoy and to come home and to relax. This is what's most important. Any effort to force or control can lead to a lot of suffering, a lot of difficulty. Even on the cloudiest, stormiest day, the sun is right there shining brightly behind the clouds. So sometimes we just need to be patient, we need to take a rest, we need to take some medicine. But we also need to be willing and able to practice to detach and to abandon from the appearance of the clouds. If you are stuck, if you are fixated on this particular aspect of the body or the mind or your life, if you are overly attached to that, not willing to give up its solidity, then you can't see the truth, which is the clouds come and go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. And our awareness is all embracing, and it is not separate or discriminatory from this present moment, from any moment. And to exfoliate that and to nourish that, we have to be willing to detach and to abandon, even though something is in our face, even though something is coming up for us. We need to be willing to abandon that. And that's a certain kind of practice that is difficult. And it doesn't feel, maybe it doesn't feel authentic to do that, to detach, to abandon this responsibility or this situation or this idea or this concept that we have. But actually we can practice that, and we should to practice that. Not to reject, but to detach. To release the entanglement about it, even though it's there, even though it's showing up. The awareness cannot be tangled. Okay, we'll finish today with a metta chant, a loving kindness chant in traditional Buddhist language. And many of you have heard me do this chant before, and this time I'd like to invite for you to join me in chanting it. I'm going to put it up on the screen, so you should just be able to see it if you're seeing me. Okay? Just pulling it up and put it on the screen, so it'll be easy for everyone to join. Okay. Okay, how about that? Can everyone read that? You can see that okay? Or is it reversed?
It is okay for me.
It's
Okay.
not it's not reversed, huh? Oh, okay.
No.
Great. On my screen it's reversed, but it's okay. So we can all bring our hands together in kind of pray position. And
Now we don't.
Now it's the YouTube screen.
oh, it'll go back. It'll go back. Okay. So yeah, we can all bring our hands together in a prayer position. And we'll first recite the words in English. And then we will do the chanting together. Okay. All right. So you can repeat after me. May I be free from enmity and danger.
May I be free from enmity. Oh, was I supposed to wait?
It's okay. Yeah, just go ahead. And we can stay muted because otherwise it will be a little bit distracting for us. Okay. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be free from physical suffering. May I take care of myself happily. May all beings be free from enmity and danger. May all beings be free from mental suffering. May all beings be free from physical suffering. May all beings take care of themselves happily. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. May it be, may it be, may it truly be. Okay, so now we'll do the chanting, and you can do your best to harmonize with me. And we put the energy of loving kindness and this wish to free from suffering in the chanting in our words. And you can try to focus on the kind of the sound itself rather than the particular words, and that makes it maybe more easy to harmonize. Okay. All right, here we go. Avero Homi Avyapajo Homi Anigo Homi Sukhiyatanam Pariharami Sabe Sata Averahontu Avyapaja Hontu Anika Hontu Sukhiyatanam Pariharantu Sukhita Hota Dukkha Muchata Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, dear friends, deep bow to everyone. Thank you all for joining with me this morning, this day, and we will meet together this evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you, 5 p.m. California time. No, you go ahead. And tomorrow, because I will be traveling, not sure, the times may change this week, and tomorrow may not be available. Yeah, probably tomorrow I won't be very available because I'll be flying and stuff. So, all right, enjoy your moment and see you again soon. Take care.